Hi everyone, it's me Lubna. Today is Saturday, August 10th, 2024. This video is dedicated to my beloved, and the topic of this video is going to be about how everything in life is what you make of it, and everything can be an opportunity if you choose to see it that way. So as I had mentioned a couple of videos prior, I'm currently reading this book, Power versus Force, The Hidden Determinants of Human Behavior by the psychiatrist and spiritual teacher David Hawkins, MD, PhD. And yesterday, while I was reading this book, I came across some lines which really stood out to me and which are related to the topic that I wanted to talk about today. So I'm going to go ahead and read those lines aloud to you now. Here it goes. By taking responsibility for the consequences of their own perceptions, observers can transcend the role of victim to an understanding that nothing out there has power over you. It is not life's events, but how one reacts to them and the attitude that one has about them, which determine whether the events have a positive or negative effect on one's life, whether they are experienced as opportunity or as stress. Psychological stress is the net effect of a condition that you are resisting or wish to escape, but the condition does not have any power in and of itself. Nothing has the power within itself to create stress. The loud music that raises the blood pressure of one person can be a source of delight to another. A divorce may be traumatic if it is unwanted, or a release into freedom if it is desired. So those are the lines that I wanted to read aloud to you. And when I read those lines, I thought that they were very inspiring because they show us that we have a lot of control over what we experience just because we have control over our attitude and our reaction to whatever cards we are dealt in life. And I know that this relates a lot to some of the things that I've talked about in my previous videos, but I just wanted to share those lines to show you that this idea of changing your attitude in order to change your experience is something that is universal throughout psychology, and it's something that is mentioned not only in psychology but also various philosophies and various examples throughout literature as well. And I'll even provide a personal experience from my life about how attitude can change everything and about how life is what you make of it. And you already probably know about some examples from my life, which I've shared in some of my recent videos. But today I wanted to talk about my family and my upbringing. So I was raised as an only child, and my parents got divorced when I was a teenager, when I was 16 years old. And at the time that divorce occurred, I remember feeling like it was the worst thing to ever happen in my life, and I didn't know how it would affect my own life and my remainder of my teenage years. And I just felt so helpless. And so at that time, I was experiencing the situation as a huge stress in my life. But as the time passed and I entered my senior year of high school, I started to realize that things turned out a lot better than they would have been if my parents had stayed together. And this is also why I believe that parents should not stay together just for the sake of their children, because it teaches the children a lot more if the parents are happier, like if they do what makes them happy. And it teaches the child about how to make decisions when the child becomes an adult as well and enters relationships as well. Anyway, so what I'm trying to say is that as I entered my senior year of high school, I saw that what had happened was really a very positive thing, not just in my parents' lives, but also in my own life. And I used what had happened to my advantage to make me wiser, more emotionally intelligent, and more understanding of the pain of other people. And I remember during my senior year of high school, I took a philosophy class, IB philosophy. And I really got into philosophy because I thought that it would help me. I found that it was helping me deal with my own personal circumstances. And then I realized that if my parents had never gotten divorced, I would have never gained all of that knowledge and that wisdom, which I've carried on throughout my life for the next 10 years. I'm 28 now, by the way, but ever since then, I've been building on the knowledge of philosophy and psychology, both of which had helped me so much during that difficult period of my life. And that also helped me to get into the schools that I got into. I went to Columbia University for my undergrad education, and I believe that what had happened to me when I was 16 years old contributed to the person that I became and the person that I was when I applied to schools and when I got into those schools. So then I see this chain of events that all happened because of what had happened with my parents getting divorced. And I realized, particularly now, after 10 years, more than actually 12 years have passed, I realized that what had happened was really the biggest opportunity and positive event in my life in my teenage years, because I would not be who I am today, and I would not be making these videos and sharing my wisdom with you today if that had not occurred. So going back to the main idea of this video, everything that happens in life is what you make of it. You can choose to see whatever challenges you come upon in your life as either a huge stressor and an impediment, or you can choose to see them as something great and something that was meant to happen so that you could become the person that you're meant to be and the person that God wants you to be, and to fulfill the destiny that you have in this world and in this life.